Alright, y'all. So, doing another rolling video, hands-free, safety. It's your host, Anthony Oxenholt, Access 228. So, again, I am not anti-police. I'm not. I want to make this clear. I believe that cops should be allowed the latitude to do their jobs. I believe that cops should have to follow the same Constitution that when I was in law enforcement, I raised my right hand to and swore an oath to uphold. Yes, that's right, people. In certain states, Louisiana and Florida are among those, correctional officers are sworn. I swore an oath that I would uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Florida. I also swore an oath that I would, can't give you the exact quote right now because it's been years, but I'd make sure that those in my charge were cared for and taken care of and follow the orders of my superiors, follow lawful orders of my superiors. I would assume that street cops in Mississippi follow the same standards when they raised their right hand and somebody handed them a badge. Somebody pinned them. That's what it's called when an officer gets his badge. It's called he is pinned. Now I say that to say this. A lot of officers forget that. Or they forget parts of the Constitution that they don't necessarily like. Now, I'm a law and order guy. I believe in the rule of law. I believe in the rule of order. I believe in the necessity of having law and order. If I didn't, I would have never accepted a badge. However, at what point do you have the right to tell a cop to go fuck himself? And if you tell a cop to go fuck himself, can he use gratuitous force against you? Many of y'all know I'm working with a case of of police brutality and excessive force, gross excessive force, out of Gulfport. I'm gonna go full on public with that case at some point. I'm just waiting on I'm waiting on a few things to happen in court, and I'm also waiting on the victim of that excessive use of force to give me her permission that she wants me to go and go public with it. So, with that being said, I'm not putting anything out there without her consent, because I don't think it's right. I would love nothing more than to have her speak for herself. That being said, an officer pulls you over. Let's say he's got a valid reason to pull you over, such as you got pulled over for a tag light being out. Let's go ahead and compound it and say that you're in a bad area. Let's say you're in Gaston Point, Gulfport, or East Biloxi. Or up there by the States in Gulfport. You know, North Gulfport area. Or Sewer City. Let's say you're, you know, coming out of Bayou Augusta in Biloxi. Or coming out of Pinecrest. Well, I guess Suncoast Villa now. Sorry, I'm old. You get pulled over and the cop says, hey, I want to search your car. At what point do you have the right to say no? Well, the answer is you don't have to say yes at all. If you're driving, you have to provide your driver's license. You have to provide proof of insurance, registration. How you doing, Mr. Smith? Where are you coming from? I don't answer questions. All I asked you was, where are you coming from? I don't answer questions. Sometimes I get mad enough, I'll look at him and tell him I'm coming from his wife's house. I don't really care. I don't. These are investigatory questions that you have the right not to answer. You don't have to answer any questions. You provided your driver's license. You have provided your insurance. You have provided everything that you are required by law to provide. Can I search your car? Absolutely not. They can only hold you there, Rodriguez v. United States. They can only hold you there for the amount of time it takes to reasonably write a ticket. They can't hold you there for an hour and wait for the drug dog to do an open air sniff around your car. Again, not a lawyer. This is not advice. I'm just telling you what the law is. You ain't got to be a lawyer, although I feel that I could, you know, my favorite pastime is kicking lawyers' asses. I love it. My legal education comes from the fact that I know how to read, and, you know, one of my favorite authors is John Grisham. But I absolutely know how to read, and I know how to read law. I know how to read Supreme Court decisions. I'm confident that if a cop pulled me over, me, a white guy, coming out of a predominantly black neighborhood in a known bad area of town, let's say I was coming from William Bell Apartments in Gulfport, a place where statistically I have no business being. Maybe I have friends over there. But let's just, you know, from the eyes of the cop, I have no business being in that neighborhood at 11:30 at night. But I get pulled over on Old Pass Road right in there. Well, I'm going to search your car. I'm going to do this. No, you're not. Why'd you pull me over? My tag light was out? Okay, great, cool, outstanding. Write me a ticket. That's what I'm going to tell the cop. Write me a ticket. Ain't going to be no searches. I'm not waiting on the drug dog. You're not going to do an open air sniff where you can tap on my window and alert the dog to jump on my car to give you the false probable cause. If you try me with that shit, I will absolutely do my damnedest to have your post certification yanked, because I'll take it there. I'm crazy, I'm mean, I'm stubborn, and I'm an asshole. And I will tell you, I am an asshole. Proud of it. Perfected the art of being an asshole for the last 40 years. So, yeah, I will absolutely. And some people are going to say, well, Anthony, if you got nothing to hide, why not let them search? I cannot stress this enough about the officer from Jackson County, Florida, the deputy sheriff over there, who had almost 120 possession cases overturned because he was planting methamphetamine on people. And he is no longer a deputy sheriff in the state of Florida. He is now an inmate in the state of Colorado, because they had to interstate compact his ass because he wouldn't have been safe in the jurisdiction of my former employer. So they shipped his ass to Colorado, interstate compact, for his own safety. Now, I say that to say this. If you are legitimately drunk and driving, high and driving, your ass needs to go to jail. I would love nothing more than DUI first to become a felony in Mississippi. I'll tell you that all day long. I don't like dope. I want dope heads off the street. I want dope dealers off the street. But I want it done the right way. I want it done to where if we spend the money on a conviction, or we spend the money on going to court, and the son of a bitch gets convicted, I want the charges to be able to stand up instead of getting turned down on appeal because the officer fucked up and violated somebody's rights protected by the Constitution. If you're a cop, I support you. Do it right, please. If you're a dumbass cop and you're going to be stupid the way you do things, I have nothing for you. I will not support you. Matter of fact, you'll probably find yourself being featured on the show where I'm going to say, hey, look at this dumbass. Look at what this dumbass did. He decided he wanted to violate somebody's rights. Yeah, okay, so he was right. The guy's a shitbag that he arrested. However, that shitbag just made $1 million off the city because you wanted to be stupid. You wanted to take shortcuts. And you didn't want to follow the law. You didn't want to follow policy and procedure. I'm all about that. And then I'm going to be pissed off because you didn't get somebody who needed to go to prison off the street. Yeah, I'm going to be mad. And it's not the criminal's fault, it's your fault. You should have done it the right way. You do things the right way, you get people off the street that don't need to be on the street. Convictions stick. And now we got one less. Granted, another one's going to step in his place. And then you turn around and you go get that son of a bitch. But you do it the right way. 100%. You do it the right way. You follow the law. You follow policy and procedure. You follow the Constitution. You really feel like you got enough, you'll get a warrant. You look down and you see the guy's got a glass pipe and some powdery substance around it and a Brillo pad and whatever else. That gives you probable cause to go get a warrant. You pull the guy out of the car, place him in handcuffs. Hey, there's your probable cause right there. You want to make it stick? You go through the trouble of getting a warrant. Okay, so it's 12:30 at night. Wake the judge up. Your body cam's going to tell the story. See that right there? Make sure it's on body cam. Now you got the son of a bitch off the street the right way. You know this guy's a felon. You see him, you pull up to him, and you see a magazine sitting on his center console. Well, I mean, you're not going to have a magazine normally without having a firearm in there. Hey, this guy could be in possession of a firearm. Now you have probable cause. It's called doing shit the right way. That's what I want to promote here. But just because a citizen like me Because I got friends that live in some bad areas. Biloxi, Gulfport, Miami, Jacksonville, New Orleans. I travel. Hell, I'm in Louisiana now. I'm all over the country. You never know where I'm going to pop up. I could be off 103rd in Jacksonville. I could be right there coming out of the Pork and Beans in Miami. I might be coming through Opelika. I might be coming through the states in Gulfport. I may be coming down over there by Isaiah Fredericks. I might be coming down William Bell. Hell, my mom used to manage William Bell. You think I don't know people there? Oh, wait a minute. Your mom, your white mom, used to manage William Bell? You damn right, all 4'11" of her. You bet your ass. All 4'11" of that woman used to manage William Bell Apartments. Now that I said that, some of y'all are damn sure gonna know who I am. The point is, do it the right way. You tell a cop to go fuck himself, it's not against the law. Actually, there's a law protecting your right to tell him to go fuck himself. It's called the freedom of speech. And since the way I see it, and the way the Supreme Court has seen it, a cop works for the government. You have a right to petition the government for redress of your grievances. That means you can air your grievances. That means, hey, you can say, hey man, you're a piece of shit, fuck you. That's protected speech. I'm not saying all cops deserve it, because a lot of them certainly don't. A lot of them do. A lot of them don't. A lot of them do their job. But it doesn't matter if it's the right cop or the wrong cop. You got the right to say, fuck you. You're not searching. The only other thing that you don't have a right to do is turn down a sobriety test or a breathalyzer or whatever, you know. That kind of comes with your driver's license. It's called implied consent. There's nothing saying that you have to be nice. There's no law that says that I have to be nice. I get pulled into the next way station I pull up to here on I-20 in Louisiana. I don't have to be nice to the DOT officers. What I do have to do, if they want to do a level 1 inspection on my truck, I got to comply with it. But I don't have to be nice. I say that to say this as well. I'm not encouraging people to not be nice. All I'm doing is encouraging people to stand up for their rights and not get bullied, because there is an increasing number of bad cops. Nobody wants to be the police. Gulfport PD starts off at $44,000 a year for cops. And $44,000 a year is not very desirable for the bullshit that you got to put up with as a cop. I never was a street cop. I worked corrections. I dare you to tell me corrections ain't law enforcement. I double dog motherfucking dare you. But anyway, that's for another topic. There's a lot of shit. There's a lot of responsibility that you got to do when you're a cop. And I can tell you that Mississippi doesn't give you the training for it. I probably have more training than most cops on the street in Mississippi. The only caveat to that would be highway patrolmen. They've got more than me. But your average run-of-the-mill street cop, what, 12 weeks at Camp Shelby, Malota, or Harrison County Training Academy? 12 weeks? Come on, I got more than that as a correctional officer in Florida. And then I had continuing training on top of that. That was just the academy. I probably have more CIT training than these cops do. Hell, a lot of them probably don't know what CIT is. Not tooting my own horn, I'm just telling you the truth. I want to change that. I want our cops in Mississippi to be better trained, but in order for that to happen, you got to get a better group of people to be cops. And in order for that to happen, you better pay them more. A lot of correctional officers are on the take in Mississippi because they're not getting paid worth of shit, and they supplement their income. It's sad, but it's the truth. It's stupid. You just committed a felony and threw your life away. But hey, we'll deal with you. I'll see you inside. Y'all got to think about this. We need to demand better of our state representatives. We need to change this. We also need to ensure that our cops are doing the right thing 100% of the time. I will tell you that my current project is the Gulfport Police Department, but I will take any. If you have had a use of force, if you've had an officer use force against you, especially Gulfport, but I'll take it from anywhere, and you feel it was unjustified, give me a call, 228-337-2099. You don't want to call me on the phone, you can text me. You want something a little bit more secure? I also have Signal. Y'all let me know. Have a good day. Be safe.